Venezuela has plummeted into political and economic calamity following.
They're running away from a situation that was impossible to stay in.
President Nicolás Maduro.
But you have to queue for almost everything.
La vida allá en Venezuela está un poco difícil.
Wait, hold up. I know what you're thinking. Why is this video talking about Venezuela when the title says Peru? Don't worry, it wasn't a mistake. It's all part of the story. Speaking of stories, let me tell you a little something about stories. It has the power to touch someone, be the deciding factor that could change the path of someone's life. It could shed light into the lives of others and aid in personal growth. But what makes a good story? Well, for one, a lesson behind it, and maybe a face to put it to. Well, today, I have a story that contains just that. The story starts off during my trip to Peru. The face of this story is my nanny that raised me. The lesson behind it relates to the word gratitude, a word that is often said, yet not fully comprehended in its entirety unless compared to something else. In this story, I experienced that something else that I would like to pass on to you, and I'd like to share what it was by starting off the story right here. My intentions for my upcoming journey to Peru are quite unconventional, as I have no interest in visiting the popular tourist spots like Machu Picchu or the Rainbow Mountains. Instead, I'm venturing towards the polar opposite side of the country. Allow me to paint a picture for you. You see, the capital of Peru is Lima, situated here, while the iconic Machu Picchu is located right there. And all the way up here, tucked away from the typical tourist trails, lies a hidden gem called Puerto Eten, right here. And that's where I'm going. This small beach is surrounded in tranquility and remains untouched by the footprint of commercial tourism. It is situated a staggering 12-hour drive from the capital, and the only people who venture to this place are those returning to their hometowns to visit family. The very notion of an outsider visiting this place is unheard of. No one would ever think about heading here, except me. So, why am I going to this place? Well, allow me to take you back to the early days. You see that woman over there? She's been the caretaker for my siblings and I from the moment my youngest brother was born until he went off to college at the age of 18. She's been living with my family ever since I was 2 years old. Her name is Amelia, but we call her Amy. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm the middle child of 5. We're all a year apart and all in our 20s, so you can imagine how long Amy has been around. Growing up, my parents weren't around much since they're both dental surgeons and they were busy working most of the time. From the moment I had my first memory, Amy has always been there. During the years she lived with us, we got pretty familiar with her life story, like how she has 4 children, how she left her youngest daughter when she was only 6 years old, how she ran illegally from Peru to the United States on foot to provide them with an education, how she grew up in a small town where the houses are right in front of the beach and made of bamboo and sand, and that her house fell apart from a hurricane one day. Her stories would touch me deeply, as she had to sacrifice one of the most valuable things in life: time. Especially the time she could have spent with her own children. She didn't get to see them growing up, but instead she left them to take care of another family's children, working tirelessly to make money for her own, so they could have a better life, and a life she unfortunately could not have. As we grew older, and the longer she lived with us, we began to see her and love her as our own mother, or should I say our second mother. And from the moment my youngest brother departed to college in 2019, her work with us was done, and it was time for her to return to Peru and reunite with her children after an extended 22-year separation. Her children are currently all in their 30s and 40s with families of their own. I made a promise during this gap year to visit everyone important in my life, and for the month of February, it was Amy's turn. Her birthday was coming up, so I obviously had to see her. From the moment I could remember, she would always tell us that one day we will visit her home in Puerto Eten and stay at her house she rebuilt with the money she collected over the years working for my parents. After she left, it was difficult to plan the trip, since shortly after she went back to Peru.
A pneumonia outbreak.
Deadliest year in U.S. history. The number of cases soaring.
But now with COVID-19 restrictions pretty much over, and I'm finally free to visit, it was time to fulfill the promise we made to Amy by embarking on the trip we've long discussed. Everything was exactly how she described. Her house right in front of the beach, the homes made of bamboo and sand, and the poverty surrounding the small town. However, I was smiling each day because I was finally here. After all these years talking about this trip, I finally arrived. As I entered Amy's home, I couldn't help but think about the tremendous sacrifice Amy made over the past 22 years to rebuild this house. It was clear that her children and this home meant everything to her, and it goes to show how much a mother would sacrifice for her children. Imagine leaving your family and not seeing your children for 22 years, only to return to a vacant home that you spent a large portion of your life building. But she's more than content for what she has accomplished, having dedicated over 2 decades of her life to this endeavor. Having witnessed her journey, I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of joy for her well-deserved triumph. Nonetheless, I came for one reason, and one reason only, which was to simply see Amy once again. So that's exactly what I did. I celebrated her birthday, while on the same day we got locked out of her house, so I had to break in. I also met her family and joined her family events. Enjoyed the beach while putting 100 SPF sunscreen. Didn't even know that was a thing until I arrived. Ate her food that I missed so much. And most importantly, spent quality time with her. During my visit to Peru, I witnessed the poverty and heard the stories of the less fortunate. I realized the importance of seeing both sides of the coin. For the locals here, their only desire is to attain an education, which will provide them with the means to escape their current way of life. Unfortunately, education is not easily accessible to them, unlike some of us who take it for granted. It is disheartening sometimes to witness how some people in this world have everything that is considered valuable to the people here, yet fail to appreciate it. It's only when you see the other side of the coin that you realize how fortunate you are to have what you have. Many of us have the resources and the opportunities to achieve success, yet we often squander them by worrying about trivial matters that hold no significance. This becomes evident when you compare our lives to that of the locals here, who struggle even for the most basic necessities. In the end, my visit here didn't just grant me time to spend with Amy, but it also served as a turning point in my life. Because to truly comprehend the values and the blessings in our lives, we must familiarize ourselves with the stories of the underprivileged. This could in fact motivate or lead us to improve our lives and the lives of those around us. The phrase "be grateful for what you have" is not a new concept, but at times it requires us to witness something firsthand to fully comprehend its significance in dual perspectives. For the month I was there, I had the chance to see how the locals live. These people's houses were destroyed by the same hurricane that destroyed Amy's home. And where they live now are homes that were built by rescue teams from Canada decades before, and they still remain today. I was fortunate enough to meet a young individual who Amy has been helping out. This individual stood out to me for the amount of hardship she went through at a young age. Her name is Sara.
Vengo de Venezuela, actualmente vivo acá en Perú con mi mamá y mis 2 hermanos. Vivo en Puerto Eten. La vida allá en Venezuela está un poco difícil por la economía, el presidente, el presupuesto, como que no daban. He venido porque, en Venezuela no había comida, no teníamos plata, no había trabajo. Salimos de Venezuela, teníamos días sin comer. Nos vinimos caminando porque no teníamos plata para venirnos en bus o en otras cosas, pidiendo cola con maletas y eso, y algunas personas se nos paraban para darnos la cola y a otras no. Y nos vinimos con bastantes venezolanos, otros inmigrantes igual que nosotros que querían emigrar a otro país, y ellos nos apoyaron porque nosotros cargábamos maletas y como mis hermanos eran muy chiquitos, nos ayudaron a llevar las maletas y eso. Cuando llegué tenía 10 años, mi hermano menor tiene 12, antes tenía 8. Duró 1 mes y medio caminando. Cuando llegamos a Chiclayo, un señor de una combi se nos paró y nos dijo que para dónde íbamos y nos dio la cola hasta acá, hasta Puerto Eten. Mi mamá ya había conocido a una amiga y la amiga le ofreció, donde yo vivo es un refugio, y la amiga vivía en ese refugio. La amiga de ella le ofreció que se quedara en su casa y mi mamá aceptó y llegamos hasta su casa.
¿Y la vida aquí en Puerto Eten es bastante mejor?
Sí, bueno, para lo que era en Venezuela, que no comíamos ni nada, sí es mejor porque, o sea, tampoco que le favorece a mi mamá por el sueldo porque no gana tanto. Pero sí, yo diría que lo más importante es que comamos todos los días y nunca nos falta la comida de cada día. Mi sueño es estudiar, quiero tener una buena educación, graduarme y sacar a mi mamá adelante más que todo. Este pueblo es lo que más he podido pedir porque aquí hay muchas personas buenas que nos han ayudado, como la señora Emilia. La señora Emilia, o sea, yo siento que ella es la que más me ha ayudado a mí porque... Ella me ofreció trabajo cuando, o sea, estaban hablando más de los emigrantes, que decían que robaban, que esto, y ella me consiguió el trabajo en su casa. Y como otra persona no puede hacerlo porque si otra persona escucha que los emigrantes están robando otra persona no va a meter a un emigrante en su casa, y ella lo hizo conmigo. Y eso se le agradece mucho. Y hasta el sol de hoy yo no le he parado de ayudar y ella a mí tampoco. Yo le agradezco mucho a la señora Emilia por apoyarme a mí, apoyarme en mi familia y en decirme que nunca deje de estudiar y que siga adelante.
Sarah's current blessings surpass her wildest expectations compared to her previous circumstances. And every day I witnessed her beaming with joy. Despite residing in poverty, the locals here manage to find greater enjoyment in life in ways that surpass those who possess greater material wealth and abundance. They embrace the present moment fully, unhindered by their circumstance, often laughing with genuine happiness. There are individuals who have experienced a total loss and fallen into poverty. And then there are those who are born into it without any choice, and what we consider to be basic necessities are considered luxurious to them. Sarah's circumstance, much like Amy's, were never within their control. They were merely dealt a different set of cards in life. Yet despite the challenges they face, Amy took the hand she was given and achieved what many would deem impossible. She ran countless miles and arrived to the United States, defying all odds, because the circumstances she was born into offered her children no chance to break free from the ceaseless cycle of poverty that held them captive. Amy carved a path to allow her children to escape the unending cycle, and I couldn't be more exhilarated to witness what the future holds for her family. My visit to Amy's hometown instilled in me a profound sense of gratitude for the blessings I often take for granted. It reminded me to cherish the sacrifices that others make on our behalf. By sharing this story, my hope is to inspire others to recognize the intrinsic value of their own lives and to appreciate the abundant opportunities that lie right before them, opportunities that are frequently overlooked. It is important to recognize that everyone we meet has their own story, their own struggles, and their own reason for being where they are in life. It takes a different perspective and experiencing both ends of the spectrum to fully appreciate what we have is often more than what we truly need to be content. And from the day Amy left for the United States until her return 22 years later, she continues to help the less fortunate here, since she was in their very shoes not too long ago. And I can proudly say that I was lucky enough to cross paths with someone like her. This world could definitely use more people like Amy. Hey, thanks for watching this video all the way to the end. I just wanted to mention that the funds raised from this video, including those from AdSense, donations from the thanks button below, and through the GoFundMe campaign in the link in the description, will be entirely allocated to Sarah's education and to the community of Puerto Eten. This will help her achieve her dream of becoming a doctor and also support the community of Puerto Eten by enhancing their education system and providing the opportunity for others to break free from poverty. I want to assure you that I'll be documenting the entire process of sending these funds in a future video. So once again, thank you for watching. Until next time.